Hello, welcome back to Monster Hunter 3 Ultimate. I am going to continue my cleanup of all of high rank so that the next urgent quest will unlock. Looks like, given that we just completed 7, we're on to 8. The first of 8, because it doesn't matter, we gotta do them all, might as well just do it sequentially, is Legiacrus and Plesioth. As if that phony flying fish weren't bad enough. Now it's partnered up with Legiacrus. Made themselves at home my fishing ground, they did. Left us fisher folk high and dry. Mine. Getting us out of this fix. Well, it's a young fisher woman too, so she's very deep south. I'm Canadian, that joke doesn't even make sense to me. Especially as well because I've had very I guess what you would say against the stereotypes experience with folks from the south, because I work with folks who are from the south, and like I've met folks who've been from there, and everyone I've met has been incredibly delightful, not very judgmental if at all, and most of the folks that I've met, because maybe it's just the world I live in, but they're involved in technology. Like, they're smart, capable people, right? It's not like the hick stereotype that I think is probably overpopularized, but no more like accurate than the idea of Canadians being like hyper polite Inuits. And even though that is a culture that's an element of Canadian history and all of those things, it's not representative of like the whole population. I don't know why I'm running around like an idiot when I have Psycho Serum. Where am I going, dude? Oh yeah, I'm fighting water monsters. I'm treating this like I'm fighting like a Rathlos or something. Ah well. Oh, I just spent the past like hour, I would say, with my dog at the park. Tuckered him right out. Just ran and ran and ran. The intention being, of course, that chill rest of the day. You know how it goes if you have a dog. Just, especially if you have a young dog. Like, I have a young dog who's very recently been a puppy. He's like a year and a half old, maybe a little bit beyond that now. So there's definitely elements of that which are needing to be managed by exercise, which is good because I really wanted to get the exercise too. That was one of the reasons I wanted a dog. It's so easy in my life to just kind of sit around all day and not go anywhere, because like my hobbies are writing and video games and watching TV and movies and reading books and comics. And while I love camping and getting outdoors, that's always been such a rarity to me because I just don't own a car and I never have. So while I like got out, there's a point in my life where I volunteered a lot with like scouts, and that was a great opportunity to get out, go to the mountains and do stuff like that, but it kind of just fell out. So now that's not a method of access to the forests that I have, so to speak. But yeah, there's definitely a point in my life where I did a fair amount of camping. And luckily, it was, I say luckily because it's my preference, it was pretty rugged camping. I know some people want the glamp or just kind of have like a vacation outside. And honestly, I'm not very judgmental of that. That's fine. I totally get it. There's times where I want to do that as well. If I'm going to do that, I prefer a cabin. But if I'm going to camp, like what I properly think of as camping, yeah, I want to get out into the woods. I'm probably going to have a hammock. I'm going to have like a single steel framed or aluminum framed backpack. Something that is like really strong skeleton, wraps around 2 points around your body. Could have a good knife, saw, maybe an axe, probably an axe. I always went overboard with tools, because that's one of my favorite things about campaign survivalism is like the cool technology related to it. And I'd kind of fallen out for a while of that stuff. Now, because my wife was looking at getting herself a multi-tool. Like, I've had one, a pretty nice Leatherman, for something like, God, over 10 years now, if not longer. And I've used it pretty much every single day. It's been in the pocket of every single pair of pants that I've ever worn since I bought it. I've used every single tool to the point where some of them have even like kind of broken, or like bits have been lost. And even though I've tried to keep it in good shape, things like the eyeglasses screwdriver ended up getting lost or misused. But the blade and the majority of the tool are in great shape, and I still use it all the time because of that. Now I've been looking at the new generation and the changes and developments and steel, and it's intensing stuff because it's really cool to me, even if it's so unnecessary, right? Like, camping is great for being one of those hobbies that you can really do on a pretty reasonable budget, if no budget at all, as long as you have a way to get out there, right? But then you go, oh well, what if I needed a $300 multi-tool? And now it's just any other expensive hobby. The thing is those things kind of like wear themselves out. Okay, that's not the right way to phrase what I'm trying to say. Their value increases pretty dramatically over time because of how much usage you can get out of them. So when I look at the multi-tool I have now, I think I paid like $270 for it, $250 or something, in that realm, right? But I bought it so long ago. I've gotten so much usage out of it. It's been all over the country, up tons of mountains, different forests. It's like literally been the deciding factor for me on a bunch of really tough camps where I needed just a tool that wasn't going to crap out. And it's always been around there. So if I look at all the days that I've got functionality out of it against that cost, it's like, 270 something divided by maybe a few thousand. I'm bad at math. It's one of my great weaknesses. I can do math, like I can make it work, but it's one of those things where I really have to sit and think about it, and I have to like actively look at it. I am not a mental math guy. I won't claim to be. And it is what it is. I guess because maybe it's just my age, but I think mental math is overvalued. It's like a bunch of old guys thinking it's still impressive to do some multiplication tables because their teachers made them do it as discipline back in the day. And like, I get it. But for every teacher that was ever like, you're not going to have a calculator in your pocket every moment of your life, horrible prediction of the future, because I do. And I have a GPS, and it does a bunch of other things too. I have a camera with me at pretty much every moment in my life. It's just one of those things. It's the modern world. We pretty much all do. It's not weird. Although, I'm also like, well, I concede that some of those modern things in life, like everyone has a cell phone and it's really normalized and stuff like that. I'm not saying it's perfect, but I'm really kind of sick of hearing people be like, oh, social media is destroying people and it's ruining young people. It's like, have you ever met a group of people that have just been like perfect and without fault? Like, I get like every generation has different issues. I'm not saying they aren't issues, but the idea of like this being such a destruction that has never been seen before, it just kind of like, it's silly to me, and it seems to lack a sort of historical bias. Because like, is it the first time that this has happened? Yeah. But there have been tons of other destructive things, or, you know, cultural movements or military movements that have done damage to young people. And there's some that never stopped. You know, religious extremism has been going on a lot longer than social media, but it brings on judgment and violence and ostracization and the feeling of being wrong and judging yourself, and you know, all the same things that we critique social media for. You can get it in other places. And sure, you could argue like the scale and stuff like that, but I don't know if that's a fair assessment of how the human brain works. Like, our active systems, our ability to think and consider, sure, we can kind of, I don't even know if everyone can, like truly, but like we can kind of wrap our heads around the idea of how big the world is and how interconnected we are. And like, I'm not talking about like knowing how to use Twitter or something, right? I'm talking about like a true cognizant understanding of how dense and deep all of civilization is. How many people there are, how many cultures there are, how many differing perspectives, how many languages, how much overlap there is, history and familial changes and medical changes, and, you know, all of these things that make people what they are, and at the scale of what humanity is. I don't even think I can really truly comprehend how big that is, because sometimes I underestimate it myself. But to like have that, even trying to, I think that's an intellectual understanding. It's not something that like our instincts are really aware of. I would argue that the brain at a passive, kind of like subconscious level, can differentiate between groups after a certain size. It all kind of like the impact, the guilt, the joy, the ups and downs, you know, it has like a diminishing return to the point where you get no returns at all after a certain amount of size, and the effect is the same. You know, like there's like a critical number of social relationships and engagements that we can consider and obey, and everything else after that kind of just becomes noise. And I would say that that's true. Social media, town, local family, big church, whatever. Like that dynamic for the brain, I just, from my understanding of things, I'm not saying this is right. I'm just saying this is my view on it. It's not distinct enough to really be like, oh, now we're on, you know, on new territory completely, and this is just like some crazy new poison that does something unprecedented. I think it's just the spread of it, maybe, or the amount of people, the ease of access to that. But even then, I don't know. I think it's a generational concern, because there's just as many like people who I think nowadays are fully checking out, and the impact of this like ongoing parasocial relationship with all of humanity on the internet is kind of like relaxing. At least I hope it is. And there's nothing wrong with like having fandoms and appreciating people for what they do. I mean, I'm releasing a new book. I hope everyone goes and buys it, right? But like, it's tough to say that all of those interactions are going to be permanent. I don't think the way it's set up right now is going to continue to be as feverish. It's kind of just like a new anything. It's really fun for a while. You get really, really into it. You pick up the hobby, but not every hobby is going to stick around forever, ever. Not every occupation will. To me, that's kind of how I view the social media thing. And the fears are, you know, it's fine to be worried about stuff, but I think there's bigger concerns. Like, you know, there's this one dude right now, and I can't even remember his name. I dislike his face. And he has a really big perspective on how we need to go back to the old way of childhood, right? And this modern way, this way of like lacking social interactions and lots of online participation and then, like not as much like dirt and scuffing your knees. That really is the sense of his message, whether it's as, you know, the full complex nature of what he's trying to say or not. That's kind of what I hear it as. And it's weird just because like folks will be like, oh, this is the most depressed generation that's ever been. And maybe like in the reporting, but that's like, you know, do we have depression records based on the current DSM from the year 1200, right? Like it's such an evidenceless statement based on, hey, we have a lot of high numbers now and we've only been tracking this based on the current terms that we're defining it by for, you know, a reasonable period of time. But it's like, I don't know. It seems like such a misnomer to just rule out an entire way of living because you think something is objectively the better way to go. Or it completely sidesteps the reality that people have never once been perfect, right? There's no example of it. There's nothing in history. Everything that like we like to over fantasize about, I guess is what I'll call it, usually has some darkness, some uncomfortable realities that we're just conveniently looking around. Actually, this was I was reading some comics the other night. This came up in a crossover event with the Superior Spider-Man, which was like an event running a few years ago where Dr. Octopus had taken over Peter Parker's body and become Spider-Man for a while. And he has this interaction with what he thinks is going to be a protege. And she becomes like living energy. But her background is actually that of a bit of a Luddite. She's a history student and she looks back at medieval times, the Renaissance, as this kind of like peak of human satisfaction. And the simplicity therein was the answer to a lot of the modern maladies that we're experiencing. That was kind of her perspective, right? But when she becomes active energy, she gets involved in the grid and she realizes, oh, okay, I can turn humanity back. I can actively prevent any of this electricity from working, get involved in all of it, and force this change that I want. And the Superior Spider-Man, there's this great panel where like it starts off with just all these people in the medieval ages, and they're smiling, they're laughing, they're markets and stuff. But he starts panel by panel discussing all the things that he had to deal with. You know, the lack of civil rights, the horrible wars, the plagues, the diseases, the disasters, the, you know, assaults internally, the incest, all of these horrible things that were so prolific in those ages. And panel after panel, the happy medieval people slowly become more diseased and skeleton-like and deathly. And it's such a great way to call out that the historical retrovism, or whatever it's called. Revisionism, I think is the proper term that I'm looking for. I really do. I hate revisionism. As someone who's like sometimes very frustrated with the way that things are, when we move out of that era, and then folks look back and be like, oh, it was so great, or this was working out way better than it was. As someone who can usually remember the frustration I experienced in those points of time, it sucks when people are like, oh, no, that was actually great. Like I just have to be quiet every now and then. But it's one of the reasons that like I had a dad that ended up killing himself. He committed suicide, and he was a drunk, he was abusive, he was a dick, and it's one of those things where I never want to get overly fixated on the fact that I miss him to not besmirch his name, because it's important that I keep that up. I don't want time to mitigate the fact that he abandoned his entire family and was a dick for the time that he was around, right? Like, I think it's important to let certain legacies maintain, and changing the past, making it sound better than it was, it does a disservice to all the damage that was done. That's something that I don't like when anyone does. I don't know what that has to do with fighting a Legiacrus, but you know, alright. I don't know if anyone at this point is watching these videos for some like old school game seeker style forum tips. That's not really what it is. I try and prevent myself from getting too pretentious. It's important to have your limits, but geez. Every now and then, I just wish I could cut away to a sequence or scene. Do some Lynchian dream sequence. I don't know, man. Oh shit, I forgot the paintball. But he's just going over this cave, so it's kind of pointless. Can I get him anyways? Ah, nice. Okay, really quickly. I'm still, yeah, perfect. Wow, this fight's actually taking a moment, but I guess that's the nature of cleaning up, like, the later high rank stuff is. Some of these are actually gonna take a moment. Oh yes, hi. I know, I interrupted your nap. And this is very bad behavior on my part. Bad manners. Oh. But. There we go. Nice. All right, great. Oh. I've been smacked. There we go. Great. What did we get? Bunch of stuff and money. That'll be nice. All right, go and turn this all in. Cool. What do we have next, man? God, there's a few to do with this rank. Hunt of Diablos. Just plain old Diablos hunt? Okay. We'll see what happens here. I don't know. Have I hunted Diablos in this series yet? I think so, right? Oh well, we'll see. It'd actually be convenient if I hadn't, because, you know, easy choice of what's a thumbnail. If I had a cutscene or something, but we'll see. It's a Diablos. I'm not really presuming that he has Psycho Serum. It's just going to be like 8, 9, or 10. This is my guess. If it's anywhere else, I will accept the L, but... Yeah, no, okay, I've clearly fought one before. Hi, buddy. Oh, thanks. So I guess we're just gonna do some Diablo hunting time now. It's funny because like we're doing all these quests just to do 2 more quests. But it's the nature of it. What can you do? Oh. Oh, I should have just kept on going. Oh well. Oh, okay, I'm just gonna run into your face and eat an herb. New strat. Oh, nice. Ah. Sacrifice just for nothing. Oh. I thought he decided to come up because of the sound, so that was kind of my bad. It was my bad. As it tends to be. It's really uncanny luck. I was literally like scheduling to start going to a gym, and then like a day after I set that schedule, the place had a fire. So I don't know what that is the universe telling me, but it was an interesting occurrence for sure. I'm still hoping to be able to go. Like they seem like such a lovely fixture of the community that I even would be willing to help the revitalization effort. But it seems to be that a lot of other people felt the same way, so I imagine it'll be fine. And then I'll just go when they repair, but still sucks. Especially like, you know, local business, young couple, they're just trying to do what they can in a crazy world. Aren't we all? Oh, we'll get gone. That's it. My dude just falls like, ugh. Why? All right. Ah, darn. I kind of hoped I was close enough to not have that problem. Nice. I will just smack the base of this tail. Thank you very much, cat. Or whichever of my things did that. I don't really remember what they're called. Nice. Stop digging. Come back to place. Wow. That tail swing is intense. Oh, okay. Misses are fine. They happen. Oh. All right, buddy. What are we doing now? You're gonna do like a little pseudo rumble. Great. Could have blocked, but whatever. Oh, you gotta go somewhere else now? Yeah, nice, man. Oh, no, you're not. Okay. I like checked out and looked away. Okay. Oh, that was fun. All right. Hello, sir. No? All right. Nice. Oh, nice. Fun. No, sorry, I got in my head a little bit there. I was thinking about Linux. It's just the true statement, right? It's not like the most entertaining thought, but I was like, I've just been thinking about, God, I was in a bit of a diatribe there, actually. I was thinking I want to play Pokemon Coliseum, but then I was thinking, I'm always a little scared to do anything like Super Nintendo, like first party related. Like, you know, this is a Wii U game, but Monster Hunter 3 Ultimate is ultimately Capcom property, and they're pretty good about their stuff being recorded and like played and whatever, which is great. Nintendo is a bit more, particular, and I was thinking like, okay, I know I like 100% know I have my physical disc of Pokemon Coliseum, but where is my digital copy? Because I did once like get the disc off onto my computer. Now the question becomes, which of my drives is it on? And I was like, okay, well, like I'm sure I could find it and do that thing. And I was thinking like, okay, wouldn't it be nice to like go and audit all of the drives that I have and put all of those files organized together in one big place that I can always archive it and back it up and grow it, so that like I always have my copies of everything. Like I think, because I think it's on a few different drives over a few different generations of like being a nerd, right? So I didn't know where you went. Yeah, I was thinking that would be nice, but you know, I was thinking about what would be the best method of doing that. Like, obviously, just dropping like $500 against the 4 terabyte SSD. It's probably not a horrible way to do it, right? But that's it. It's just expensive, and even then, SSDs aren't impervious. They're pretty damn good. But the best way is technically like what, a magnetic tape drive, I think, for like long-term archive. That's if you're not willing to cycle things around, and that's kind of what I've been doing over the years. I've had like a migrating, you know, hub of data and files and movies and games and old programs and things like that. That's just kept around for weird amounts of time. But now it's just kind of like a game. How long can I keep this going? How prolific can I make all the information? Like, again, I'm definitely one of those people that would build like some big like NAS system or have like a server rack in their room. But I'm also married, so you know, you gotta wait. It's the most like traditional dude thing I'll ever say. Like, no, my wife wouldn't like that. To be fair, I'm not gonna be a big fan of like server racks in my regular residential rooms, but I could be like, oh, it's kind of cool, and just not invite anyone into the room, and that wouldn't bug me. But I recognize that's not the best way to share space. Luckily, though, I have a really good relationship, and things like that are never a fight, because I think both me and my wife have a degree of self-awareness about that type of thing. That means, like, we go, In a perfect world, wouldn't it be great? But like, let's be honest, it's nah. So that makes life easy. There's never too many like, really, we don't argue, but there's never any like conversations about things that get really obtuse and weird, because we have a pretty good sense of like how to share the space we have and what's realistic for each other. Every now and then, you know, things happen, weird stuff goes on though, like you make choices. Like I actually upgraded my wife's setup her desk a little while ago. I got one of those like monitor stands. It's like a pole, and then there's like arms attached to the pole, so you know, her laptop can float above her desk, and we have space for another monitor or whatever we want in the future. So I thought that was pretty cool. It was kind of random though. Even she admitted it. She's like, I think I like this. This is nice. Thank you. But like, what? It kind of came out of nowhere. And it did. I don't know. I just looked over and was like, wouldn't that be cool? Anyways, I'll say I've defeated the Diablo, so it doesn't just sound like I've just recorded myself talking randomly and then spliced it over some Monster Hunter footage. Like, yeah, I am fighting things. I'm just, you know, it's the nature of cleanup grind. I'm just passively fighting my way through what I gotta do. I need to buy some more regular herbs as well. Oh, okay. Nice. Lovely, cool. Oh, that was a pretty big one. Okay. What's up next? Aragon, Duramboros. Okay. I guess we're gonna do an Aragon. Nice. All right. Let's give her. Oh, cool. Start it off here. Great. And we have a destination right away. I wonder what the unknown is. Maybe Gavilho, that's my best guess as the invader. At this rank, it's like the best remaining like threat that could appear. Oh, my bad. I misjudged my distance. I'm gonna get beat up here for a second. Don't worry about it. Oh no, now I'm gonna get put to sleep. Oh no. Darn. I want to be away from this explosive. Do not hit it. That is some psychotic behavior right there. Darn. I don't know why I'm just doing awful Aragon fighting right now. Aragon, what am I failing? Why am I this way? Oh, okay. No questions. Gotcha. Does this work? Nope. Yeah, okay, so I think that's like some blast status. Jeez. Oh, my bad. I thought you were gonna go straight. This thing is just tuned into me. Like, is someone playing this Aragon? What the hell? One of those, like, it's gonna feel really good to win this fight ones, because I feel like my DPS insofar has been really low. We're getting some hits in now, which is making me feel better, but still, folks, we like to do lots of damage very quick. What makes me feel good. All you can do, though. Right, I really need to remember that swing around for some reason. Okay, he's gonna go up there, over there. Yeah. Cool. That's fine now. I don't know why I thought that was gonna work. Oh, yell. No, sir. Yeah, I don't know. Oh, wow, I might die. Could be a cart. Oh, yeah, I think it would have been a cart had my guy not saved me there. So, thank you, Chacha or Nyamba. Oh. I don't think I can deal with this one with anything. Oh, darn. fell the opposite way I hit him. But falling in general is just good. Lets us know we're on the right track. Darn this again. Spam that move much, bro? God, it reminds me I actually have to go do some raids in Final Fantasy 14. I hit reset this week and then I only did like 2 raids because I kept on getting queued up with folks who just could not do the mechanics. And I'm not like a perfect player or anything like that, so I get it, right? Like, you don't have to always be perfect. Whiffing happens, making a mistake happens. But this was just like 2 parties in a row that required multiple clears to do some fights that have been out for weeks now. And I didn't see any cutscenes when we loaded in, you know, it didn't seem like there were any new players. It just seemed like a bunch of folks who had done the fight before. So I have to imagine maybe I got like stuck with people who had been carried in all of their other fights, and I just happened to have everyone who needed a carry in one party. But it was awful. It was really annoying. And, you know, I try and have good patience because I'm a tank, and people got to learn. I have to. Nobody's really mean to me, so I never speak out, make anyone feel bad. But behind my monitor, I was very upset because it's just like, oh my god. How are we, like, dying to these, like, basic mechanics, some of them, too? They weren't even, like, bad moments where we thought. It was just, like, folks lost track of how to walk, and then everything fell down. And this happens, like, every now and then, right? Like, it's my job as a tank to use my group mitigation skills when I can, my personal mitigation skills when I can, deal as much blue DPS as I can, and then generally keep enemies in patterns or positions that prevent damage getting directed at the rest of my party. Well, that's a pretty reasonable job, and I tend to do it. I also have a lot of health to do it with, but the amount of times that, like, in those past 3 raids that I was, like, way too much the last man standing was not great. And there's nothing you could really do either, because, like, I actually have a pet peeve with how one of the fights is being run, and that folks are, like, not centering a certain boss, which makes being in the right position for one of his combo moves a little bit harder. And you're in a bad position to pick up dealing damage when he, like, goes where he's gonna stay. So it's a lot of, like, running around and potentially wasting your ability to sprint when it could be better used for dodging, like, a mechanic. But I try and tank this boss in a way where I bring him back to where he's gonna go anyways, so that we don't have to waste time running and chasing him around. We can just pick a spot, hit him there. But every now and then a tank will try and, like, fight. And it's like, bro, stop. You're the one who's dying here. And then some mechanics too, I think folks are freaking out about. And it is what it is. Like, I understand some of the difficulties, but the main thing is not freaking out. That's really when you end up hurting yourself. It's like not taking a moment to just center yourself and do what you gotta do. Instead, you're, like, worrying about it and actively challenging how you're doing it while you're doing it. And that tends to make you always do things worse. Oh, nice. Darn. I was gonna try and do a quick block there, but couldn't get my sword up fast enough. Come on, buddy. I saw you limping, or something looked like it. Are you close to being the dead? Oh, I guess my cold drink is worn off. Is that what is happening there? Yeah. Yep. All right. Okay. There he goes. Hello, broski. Yes, I know you do it, yeah. Oh. I was not underneath you enough. I apologize. I thought I was. These are all really understandable camera angles, right? Good. I'm glad. I'm glad there was no ambiguity as to what was happening there for anyone involved. Me neither. Okay, bro. Good little hero dive there. Always nice when it works. Feels like definitely any one of these, but beautiful. Right before random annoying stuff happened. Okay, lovely. Ooh. Ow. Ah, damn. Oh, my hand is getting better, but my hand's going through some recovery right now, and whew, just stretched in a way that made it feel like it was full of shattered glass and needles all going different directions. It was great. Really enjoyed that. I say that as someone who genuinely likes when my foot falls asleep or like a limb falls asleep. It's like a weird foreign feeling. It's like, oh, what is this? This is funny. Especially like feet, you know, like I remember being a kid. You're sitting down to like the gymnasium and you're like having an assembly or something like that. And you have to sit cross-legged on the gym floor and you'll be there for like an hour or two and you can't move. And then when you stand up, you like can't feel your legs sometimes. I always thought that was fun. It felt like walking without real legs or like on stilts that were badly attached to my hips. Like I just thought it was amusing. I don't know. Right on. All right. Oh, hey, you got something to say? Oh, okay. Diablos is over there. Cool. All right, you're rocking too. Great. I don't think I can upgrade my stuff any further than I have today. Yeah, I didn't think so. That's cool. Okay. What do we have next? Oh god, 2 Durham Boros. Yeah, there's not really winning option here. All right, I'm just gonna go get some water and then I'm gonna do this. Oh, all right, let's do Twin Peaks. Is this a reference to the show Twin Peaks? I actually recently watched all of that. I liked it a lot. Ladies like more than long walks on the beach, you know. I took my date to the Misty Peaks for a little rainy day romance, but I never thought we'd run into a man with a piece like that. Twins even. Can't you help a fella out? I don't know why that's what I thought romantic man sounded like. Oh my god, this is gonna be such a boring one. That's okay. It might be okay because the Duramboro's health is split, but still. It is much fight. Is it two at the same time? Oh wow, okay. Two Duramboros at the same time, man. Two Duramboros at the same time. You know, that movie that I'm referencing there, Office Space, pretty good movie, pretty accurate. There's a type of cynicism. Oh right, I always remember this one map is where I get a dead pixel. I always forget it happens here. Anyway, ooh. Yeah, Office Space is pretty accurate, and it encapsulates the type of cynicism that I really believe in, given the right circumstances. But I think sometimes, I don't know, like I'm a pretty, like, stand your ground, when it comes to employment type person, right? Like, know your worth, know your labor laws, protect yourself. Wage theft is the #1 cause of fraud in basically the world. And it is heavily weighed towards employers taking money from their employees in regards to what they should rightfully earn. Now, that takes the form of multiple different things, and that's something I think that should be pushed against and people should be frustrated with. But there's also some folks, I think, that are cynical in a direction that I don't support. Did I? Yeah, I totally did. That's okay. Completely forgot to get extra healing items. Yeah, but like, I don't know, like, I think sometimes the things are misinterpreted, right? And like, even the statement like, give extra and you'll get extra. Like the idea of hard work gets a reward all the time. That's not true. But there is ways that it can be. And I just think it's not always what folks are thinking. And one of the frustrations that comes is from like how different the definition in someone's head is compared to the reality of what meeting that requirement is, right? So when it comes to giving extra, usually what that actually means is something that's outside of the box that irrevocably provides benefit. But I think what people interpret that as is just doing more of their regular job, or doing extra of it, or doing it for longer. And that's not really what the statement means. It's like, there's deeper meaning behind a lot of the things that we say, and it's even like the customer is always right, but the true statement is like the customer is always right in matters of taste, which is just to say that like if everyone wants to buy pink shirts, that's what the market wants. The customer is right in regards to their desire for something pink. If the customer pointed at a pink shirt and said that that is white, the saying does not mean that they are right. It just means that the demands of the market are the demands of the market, and that's not something that can be questioned. Oh, folks aren't as bothered by that type of thing as I guess I am, so gotta make peace with it. I imagine they're gonna hurt each other, so that's good. But this is not the mission that I would not want to have my healing stuff with. Like, I have some of it. Oh my god, there's just Durham Boros. Durham and Boros is all over. It's everywhere. There's Durham borrowing. Cool. Oh well. Yeah, I've been reading a lot of comics lately. It's been getting the usage out of my Marvel Unlimited subscription, and it's been really nice comparing to comics, because there was a point in my life where I was pretty up to date, and I've kept a much better informed than the average person, an average Marvel fan, but not reading as many comics as I would have liked to for a while. And now I've definitely been crunching through old events and then starting to get up the pace with current events and working my way through Blood Hunt and stuff like that, which has been really fun. I love doing that. I love the opportunity to do that. I've also been rereading and just finished all of Hickman's Infinity event and all of the tie-ins, and I read into it reading in through New Avengers, and then I hit Infinity, and then I started the Infinity storyline, and I continued New Avengers and read all of the related, all the tie-ins, the big invasion, the Terrigen Mists going off. And I think that's one of the things that's really crazy when I'm looking at it, is the idea that anyone can be upset about the Marvel movies not being comic accurate, when in the wide berth of what was actually happening in, say, the Infinity arc, the modern one, nothing was the same. There's whole characters and things that are going on that aren't even in the movies yet, that aren't even allowed at the time to be in the movies. They weren't allowed, right? There's pivotal characters like Manifold, who I don't even think have had a movie appearance ever. If they haven't, it's my bad. I actually didn't see it. Maybe was Manifold in 97? I don't remember. I think that their teleporter was still Nightcrawler there. So either way, point aside, there's the Builder invasion. There was the beginnings of Secret Wars. There is obviously Thanos looking for Thane coming to Earth. There's the Terrigen Mists going off, kickstarting heroes like Miss Marvel, but also a ton of other events. Attilan, the Immortal City, well, not the Immortal City, the Inhuman City, is floating above New York at the time of Hickman's Infinity arc. So it's there's another Infinity Gauntlet storyline, right? The original one from, I think, the 80s, that has, Nebula with her mohawk, and she gets the gauntlet back then. That's probably... That story was the source of just as much inspiration. But, when it comes to modern comics, we're missing still so many of the characters that are required for some of these, big events. And it's funny, because folks will be like, oh, there's too many characters. But in reality, you have maybe, in some cases, 25% of the characters that actually participated in some of the original storylines. It's funny as it is, I guess it looks like the way that things are going, we're far more likely to get Silk, Spider-Ghost, Ghost Spider, Spider-Gwen, before we get Spider-Woman, right? And not the clone of Peter, but her own person, the one from London. And she's a character, Spider-Woman, actually appears in a bunch of stories. She's kind of pivotal it was like doing Secret Invasion. I'm just like doing Secret Invasion without Spider-Woman is like doing Civil War without Captain America. Like literally one of the main players in that story reveal it wasn't even there. Jessica wasn't even like in the movies or the shows. So there's so many things that like folks will be like, oh, this character's patch is wrong, and I think that's what they think some level of like comic inaccuracy is maybe because they're just looking at pictures of the characters and find something to complain about. But when you're an actual comic reader, you had to look at, you know, the realities of so much more. What was going on in the background, all the other writers who were working on different lines and stories. They had different imprints at the time and teams and all of these folks that had to like coalesce with editorial to try and tell one story. And all the time that it's had to do. And comics are definitely cheaper than movies, inherently to produce, I think. So, yeah, it's funny to me because folks will complain about like the tiniest things when massive glaring differences don't get brought up in the mainstream. And that goes to show the difference between like just the reality of folks who have fallen into the fandoms of comic book mediums, like TV shows or movies or animation. There's nothing wrong with that either. I don't want to sound like I'm chastising that. It's just funny to me when someone's like, oh, this guy, that person's like, their hair is different. When in reality, it's like, what? That person isn't even from this galaxy anymore or whatever. But sometimes it's actually like, it's fun to do these stories where you're reworking and giving new origins to famous characters. Like, I think that's actually one of the most fun things to do as a writer. Now, I imagine if you get the right to do it, it's one of the most satisfying things to do in comics, right? Like, I'm thinking, while the Ultimate Universe of Marvel went on to have some issues and some weird characterizations and some interesting choices and storylines, the concept of modernizing all these characters were really fun. You know, Crisis on Infinite Earth and Post-Crisis in DC, and now we have... They did what? They had Crisis on Infinite Earth. I think they had like Crisis 2 or something like that. And then they had Darkest Days, and then they had Flashpoint. And now I think DC is in the Omniverse, where every multiverse and every verse and every story simultaneously exists. And all things are canon. And then there's like overarching influences on this shared universe, but largely it is a universe of universes now. And reworking stuff super fun. I'm actually really excited for this new line in DC. Like, I think I'm actually going to go and buy the like collected volumes of these stories because I'm interested in it. It's like the absolute Superman, Wonder Man, and Batman. Like, even like absolute Batman is getting some critiques, and I think it's a shame because this character looks awesome. And you know, the idea of a Batman that really has to come from a different situation. He doesn't have the wealth of Wayne Industries. He's bigger, he's bulkier, he overcompensates for his lack of tech with other strategies. Like, this sounds interesting. And then you have, like, oh my god, I actually broke off that tail. That's crazy. Yeah, but I think, like, Absolute Superman is, like, part of his costume is, like, the ashes of fallen Kryptonians that he couldn't save. Badass. And then I don't know much about Absolute Wonder Woman other than she has like awesome tattoos and a huge sword. So she's been sweet as well. And I like comics from all writers and producers. And I admit, you know, I have a bit of a lack of first-hand experience with DC Comics. I have definitely owned comics from DC over the years. I would say Batman is what I've read the most of, if I'm being honest. But I've owned a few different things. And I definitely, like when it comes to DC, I've been a bigger fan through movies and animation. And I've only just learned that they have a digital app too. So I'm like, oh, that's cool. But I don't know, like how many subscriptions I need going at a time. Either way, it'd be fascinating to catch up. That being said, I am actually really excited for the new DC movies that are coming out under James Gunn. I think he's going to do a fantastic job. And I really want him to do a good Superman. Like, I loved Cavill's Superman. I thought he had like a cool perspective. He looked great in the suit. He carried himself really, really well. It was just a fun time. But I like a bit more of an optimistic. You know, he's not to me a grim, dark character. And nowadays, you know, we're in a world of Omni-Man and Homelanders and Ultramans and etc. Even, you know, look at the Marvel Universe, you have like Sentry and Hyperion. We have enough kind of like grungier Superman analog characters. I want Superman to be an optimist, a bit of a dork, a good old, you know, Southern farm boy. That's more comforting. Someone who's going to bring a wholesome energy and that perspective to superheroing. Especially at the scale of power that Superman is at, right? Like, that's undeniable. Okay, well, he's all ragey, but he's gonna run away, so that's fine, I guess. We'll add some herbs and see how far we can go with our limited healing stock before we go and get, like, supplies from base, I guess. I was hoping to kind of like tuck in under that arm. Didn't happen. That's okay. Okay, cool. I'm glad to have somehow miraculously dodged all of that. Beautiful stuff going on right here. Just sounds of things being broken, damage being done. Where are you going, buddy? Boop. Okay, I don't have the energy to run over there as fast as I would have liked, but I can do that. Okay, cool. And I can... Actually, I cannot. I can get to your legs. That's about it. Oh. Okay, I'm going to take this opportunity to do a shark one. Well, then I guess we'll just hit him in the face instead of the tail. What's the plan here, Durhamboros? Okay, that's fine. Not ideal, but it happens. Cool. That was good positioning on my part then. Oh, I hope this hits. Nice. Ow. I only saw the leg moving, didn't think about the tail. Which I really should have, because like that's the obvious threat. Oh, he's gonna fall. Yeah, he's so low energy. Well, let's see if we can crack another tail case. That was cool. Nope, yellow. Okay. Great. I'm just gonna sneak over here. Thank you. No. No, I guess I'm gonna miss most of those hits. We are limping though, so we are fast approaching victory at the end of the video. Yeah, I have to be point blank about it. Ooh. I have to imagine my recording software is just like, what is happening in those moments? Like there's so many keyframes here. Jeez, that was just like damaged salad. We're just in there destroying stuff. Oh. Where are we going here, bud? Oh. Well, that's tremendously not helpful to me. Thanks, team. Good stall. We're just on them. Oh, darn. Cool. There we go. Double Durhamboros. What a thing, eh? Oh. But that's cool. It's all taken care of. It's done. It's satisfactory. And if I need any Durham Bordeaux stuff, I mean, now I have more of it. So, yay. It turns out I didn't need any extra healing items. I brought 100% of what I needed. Very economical that way. Down to my 3 herbs. I used to say herb, and now I say herb. I don't know why. A switch flip. It's like I used to say aluminum, and now I say aluminium. Just what it is. The evolution of a tongue. Nice. Save. Beautiful. All right. Well, darn. I'm gonna like get some more stuff for you real quick. Cool. And that gives us what? 2 more left here. And then a fair amount left over there. Well, progress is being made. Cool. Thanks for watching this episode of Monster Hunter 3 Ultimate. See you around the next one. Bye.